Swallowed Star. Chapter 519. The Existence at the Bottom of the Pit. Right here, Luo Feng floated in mid-air, feeling the thickness of aura about. Any higher and the aura would decrease. Any lower and the thickness would diminish too. In front of Luo Feng, the red killing aura floated about. The depth that he was in was where the aura was thickest. However, the entire area was simply too vast. He was simply at the side of the mountain wall. I'm at the edge of the thickest area. What would the center of it be like? Luo Feng carefully headed towards the center of the endless amount of killing aura. He traveled at 100 kilometers per second and got closer towards the center. The thickness is rising. It's actually getting thicker here. 3.5 times, 4 times, 4.5 times, 5 times, 6 times. As he got closer to the center, the thickness grew even more shockingly. The killing willpower that invaded his consciousness was terrifying, almost like countless slaughtered demons cheering within. The demons' voices were either forceful and strong or formless in their invasion, continuously messing with Luo Feng's willpower. It's too strong. Luo Feng stopped at the 7 times region. His face was slightly pale, squinting, his gaze like a blade, sweat beading from his forehead. This killing aura is simply too terrifying. The endless killing aura filled one's entire consciousness. Compared to Luo Feng's willpower, however, this willpower was much weaker. However, it was solid and trained. Even though these killing auras are scattered and not organized, with countless amounts gathered together, it's still very strong. I can take it, however I have to be extremely cautious with it. Luo Feng's expression was serious. During his stay at the huge pit quarters, he would receive killing aura invasions unexpectedly. However, the level of attack back then wasn't much, as he could completely focus on studying his origin laws. However now, at 7 times the thickness, he had to focus strongly on defending against the invasion of the killing aura. I'll go to my maximum and see where I can reach. Luo Feng gradually continued to fly. He slowed down his speed, however the thickness rose even quicker. The closer he got to the center, the more shockingly it rose. 8 times. Luo Feng suddenly stopped in mid-air. Hoo. The aura before him was already as red as fresh blood. With what he could see with his naked eyes, the aura was like a whirlpool swirling ahead. Whirlpool core. Luo Feng could see with a gaze 10 kilometers ahead. The aura within the whirlpool core was extremely thick and terrifying like a red sun. Simultaneously, the whirlpool emitted an ancient energy, with a formless enticement that permeated his soul. Come on, come here. That formless seduction entered Luo Feng's consciousness. Get out! Luo Feng's consciousness let out a roar that shook his entire mind. Immediately, that enticement that invaded his mind was smashed, crumbling into dust. You actually dare to invade my mind. Luo Feng's gaze was piercing, staring at the whirlpool core. I cannot go closer. If I go any closer, I'm afraid that I won't be able to resist. Luo Feng's expression was serious. Even though he had detected the enticement in an instant, he had to admit that the allure of the whirlpool core was even more terrifying than the illusion of the fantasy ocean level 9. And that mad killing aura was close to his limit of bearing too. 7 times the thickness, he already felt a huge pressure. 8 times the aura, that was indeed close to his limit. In terms of willpower, Luo Feng's was a pure and genuine willpower, and the enemy was endless killing intent willpower. Now that it was close to his limit, Luo Feng could indeed push it, just a little deeper. However, he didn't dare take the risk. The moment he failed, after successfully being invaded by the killing aura, he would become a bloodthirsty madman. A true madman without logic or reason. That was akin to death. About 10 kilometers away from the whirlpool core, Luo Feng chose to retreat. From the looks of it, my willpower now still isn't strong enough. Luo Feng looked at the blood like whirlpool before him. If first and second brother were here, they should be able to go closer. Right. Whirlpool. The whirlpool core is the deepest. The further I go, the thinner it gets. The outermost spiral arm of the whirlpool has a depth of 9,000 kilometers. Luo Feng simulated the huge whirlpool in his mind. An aura of the whirlpool with a diameter of 1,000 kilometers, from which the 9,000 kilometers depth was the outermost region of the whirlpool. Hence that area was 2 times the huge pit quarters. Any further and the thickness would fall another time. This deep part has the thickest aura, so it's actually a whirlpool core. Who knows what's within that red sun-like core? Luo Feng recalled the killing aura and formless enticement that invaded his mind, feeling a tremble within. I cannot go deeper, at least not yet. So, Luo Feng flew to the mountain wall close by, sticking to it and falling 100 m downwards straight to the bottom. I want to see just how deep this huge pit is and see what's at the bottom. Luo Feng continued to descend. 15,000 kilometers, 20,000 kilometers. The depth of the huge pit obviously exceeded its width, and there was hardly any difference of thickness in aura at the bottom from the huge pit quarters. In the depths of the pit, there were protruding platforms at the sides of the mountains. On one of them, a bronze-armored tall silhouette sat crossed-legged. Suddenly he opened his eyes and gazed into the distance. Simultaneously, a thread of genetic energy permeated to the bottom. Lord, someone's here, pinnacle cloud level. How do we deal with him? Bottom of the huge pit. The killing aura floated about. There, one can see wild grass and plants growing about, and a blood-red palace was erected at the bottom. Leave it to me. A voice rumbled, swiftly reaching the bronze-armored warrior's ears. Second level of the palace.
There were many cells there. Within each of them were all kinds of strange mad howls, and occasionally clashing of metals could be heard. These cells, every one of them were about 10 m high, 10 m long and wide. It was almost like a sealed-up square coffin. At this time, one of them began to move on its own. Within this cell stood a 3 m tall, bent-bodied strong warrior, and on his back he carried 2 huge machetes. However, his hair was messy and his eyes were blood-red without any reason or intelligence in them. Kill! He let out a low howl like a wild beast. Go kill the person who disturbs the Aster's training. A voice resounded. So, the wild beast warrior became a beam of light and swiftly rushed out. Luo Feng gently landed as his boots hit the bottom. Moss vegetation. Luo Feng looked at the ground. Surveying his surroundings, he found the bottom was dead silent. Occasionally he would see the random stones about, obviously these had fallen from the mountains above. Is there no life at this bottom? Luo Feng began to scout about with curiosity. Of course he was still cautious. Every step he took he passed 10 kilometers to scout about in this vast bottom area. Some places were uneven like canyons while others were like mountains. In terms of surface, the surface of this bottom was closer to Earth's surface. Many 1,000 m tall little mountains and canyons that went up to 10,000 m could be seen everywhere. Looks like there's nothing special here. Just dead and empty. Luo Feng turned to leave. Suddenly within his ears he felt an energy swiftly approaching. Instantly that energy became very clear. He turned fiercely, staring into the distance. What a mad aura, he's not trying to hide it at all. I felt him at least 1,000 kilometers away. From his energy, he shouldn't be too strong. Cloud level 9? Or domain level 1 or 2? Luo Feng placed his hand on his scabbard on his back, simultaneously feeling the energy swiftly approaching. How? A silhouette swiftly appeared. A bent messy-haired wild beast-like warrior appeared. His blood-red eyes filled with madness and killing intent as he brandished 2 machetes in his hands. He's fallen. Luo Feng swiftly deduced. Under this killing aura environment he was invaded by the aura and finally lost to it, letting it take over his consciousness. He has gone completely mad and his entire being only knows of killing. Kill! The demon wild person roared out with madness, simultaneously rushing at Luo Feng. Since you've fallen, poor person, I'll do you a favor and send you off. Luo Feng swiftly brandished his blood shadow blade. Chang! As the blade left the scabbard, Luo Feng's entire being became a mirage. As that wild person's machete slashed at his image, large amounts of lightning split apart and a 1,000 m deep canyon was sliced open. That image simply vanished into nothing. Kill! That mad person immediately turned and waved his machete. Dang! It clashed with Luo Feng's blood shadow blade, causing Luo Feng to become a silver light and disappearing into the red killing aura. What a keen and nimble fellow, and his blade work had the feeling of the ground origin laws. The moment I get close, he can easily defend. This mad demon, before he fell, he should have been quite powerful. After slightly retreating, Luo Feng became an image and vanished. That wild demon, however, roared and madly rushed over again. Kill! Kill! Just the air pressure from the two huge machetes alone caused countless amounts of rubble to fall from the surrounding mountains. His blood-red eyes swept the surroundings. Simultaneously, he unleashed a formless spirit energy to look for Luo Feng. An incredibly beautiful flash of a blade. So beautiful it made one's heart tremble. Even the space around at this time seemed to stop. This flash was silver in color, and when the flash finally ended, in that instant it even had hints of gold. Chi! The flash sliced right through the demon's neck, and the sharp flash extended to pierce into his body, immediately right into his life core, causing it to explode. Kill, kill, kill! The demon person's head fell on the floor. His mouth was slightly moving, still mindlessly muttering the words kill, even as his neck spurting out blood and crumbled on the floor. Shua! Luo Feng gathered himself and stood there. With a solemn expression, he looked at the corpse on the floor.